the promises of God, my Savior. Standing, standing, I'm standing on the promises of God.
Standing on the promises that cannot fail, when the howling storms of doubt and fear assail, by the living word of God I shall prevail. Standing on the promises of God. Standing, standing, standing on the promises of God, my Savior. Standing, standing, I'm standing on the promises of God. Standing on the promises I cannot fall, listening every moment to the Spirit's call, resting in my Savior as my all in all, standing on the promises of God. Standing, standing, standing on the promises of God, my Savior. Standing, standing, I'm standing on the promises of God. Standing, standing, standing on the promises of God, my Savior. Standing, standing, I'm standing on the promises of God.
Truly, it's good to stand on God's promises. And that's where we, in a way, place our faith, place our whole being. So today, even as we talk about the whole area of stewardship, continue our being with Jesus, today we talk about the principles of reward. And part of the reading is the parable of the sheep and the goats. Just want to discuss that and just share with you all. Okay, I think three very important lessons that you can learn even from this parable that Jesus taught to his disciples. I think firstly, okay, it's good for us to remember and to recall that God sees and knows everything. That God sees and knows everything. A lot of time in our mind, we know that God is sovereign. Yes, we know God is sovereign. We know God is omnipresent and omniscient. Okay, but sometimes when we are doing things, we may tend to forget that God is seeing and God knows. Sometimes for good reasons, sometimes for bad reasons. Okay, so I think this one just reminds us, because you know how the response from the different groups are. When did we see this? When was this? Okay, so it's good for us to remind ourselves that God sees and knows all our actions, all our deeds, or even all our misdeeds, or all our deeds that we did not do. Okay, so one point is that God sees and knows everything. I think the second lesson we learn from this parable is serving God is equated with serving others. Serving God is equated with serving others. When they see you in prison, when they see you hungry, I think a lot of the people who are sheep did not see, in a way, God hungry. They all see God in prison. But because they did what God asked them to do, they serve God. They serve God. Okay, so it's equated, serving God is equated with serving others. And lastly, the third lesson that we need to remember is very important. There is a day of reckoning. There is a day when we need to give an account for how we live our life, for what we did, as well as what we did not do. Those were the goats. So when did we see this? They didn't do anything. And God, in a way, spoke against them for that. Not what they did, but what they did not do. So very simple 3 points for today's parable on the whole area of the principle of reward. Okay, I think it's important for us to remember that God sees and knows all our deeds, that God sees and knows what we did and what we did not do. That serving others is equated with serving God. And ultimately, there is a day of accounting, a day of reckoning for each one of us. For each one of us. I think that's important. Okay, so even as we remember that part, okay, so we need to also know that our whole life in a way is transparent before God, and God will reward us accordingly. Okay,